double check on that for me? All right. Actually, no. I forgot. I only put one worksheet up here. All right. I only put one worksheet up here. So you guys should be done quickly. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the evens, okay?
Wait.
All right.
Yeah, this isn't ours.
No, that's not the right one. That's for tomorrow. Yeah, it's 4.4 review. All right, go back and do 4.4 review. That's going to be for tomorrow, so if you already have that loaded in, that's good. All right. And again, I really want this to be super important for you. All right, and I want you to be good at it. All right, writing the equations of lines is in every single math class that you take. All right, so here we go. Now, number 2, write the equation of the slope-intercept form of the line that passed through the given point and is parallel. From last week, if lines were parallel, what was true about the slopes?
Oh.
They were the same. Thank you. So the slope of the parallel line, and here's how I wanted you guys, for those of you guys who were did the instructions, you remember my notation. Slope of the parallel line would be what? What's the number? It would be what, Daniel?
1.
-1, actually. Thank you. All right. So now what we're going to do is, does everybody see this point down here?
Yeah.
We're going to try to draw a line parallel. All right. So to do that, right, I'm trying to see if you can see that that's parallel. Everybody see that's parallel? Everybody okay with that? Now, if that's parallel, what's the y-intercept? Someone, what's the y-intercept? You're supposed to be able to look at the graph and tell me. Aspen, what is it?
-1.
Are you sure?
Y.
The y-intercept.
0.
Yeah, isn't it 0?
Yes.
That's okay. It doesn't matter. Come on, you're thinking about it. All right, that's the y-intercept. I'm trying to highlight it. It doesn't highlight very well, so let me just double check. So you understand this is the y-intercept. And the y-intercept in this particular case is what? 0. So B is 0. So the equation is just y equals -x plus 0. Is it necessary to put plus 0?
No.
No. You could just say the answer is y equals -x. Does anybody have any questions with that? All right. Now, just to show you something, just to make sure, we know it goes through the point. It goes through the point 1, -1. Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's review. Point slope, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Does anybody have any questions with that? Now let's plug in. If I plug in, it's going to be y plus 1 equals -1 times x minus 1. And then we distribute. That becomes, then when I subtract 1, did everybody see that? So what am I trying to show you? Does it matter how you do it?
No.
It makes no difference how you do it. You're going to get the same answer. All right, that's the only point I was trying to make with that little bit of exercise. All right. Now, how many people feel like they already knew that today?
I do that.
All right. And again, that's super important, what you just said. I do know how to do it, but I had to refresh. That's exactly what I want. All right, exactly. Super, super important information. You should be excellent at writing the equations of lines. All right. Now, let's go down to question number 4. So with question number 4, we're going to write the slope of the parallel line would equal somebody. Would equal what?
3.
Would equal 3. And it's passing through the point 3, 2. Now, why is 4 different than 2? Because we don't have a what? We don't have a graph. Do we need a graph?
No.
No, we don't need a graph. All right? We now can put it into our equation, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Who's going to do that for me? Go. Maya.
Y minus 2 equals 3 times x minus 3.
So far, so good with that, guys, right? Now, that's in point slope, but it says write it in slope intercept. Do we agree with that?
Yeah.
So now let's convert it over. So it would be y minus 2 equals 3x minus 9. Y equals 3x minus 7. Is everybody happy with that?
Yes.
All right. So those were the two forms. This is a good review. That's point slope form. And this is what? Slope intercept.
Yeah.
Quick.
We need to do the functional notation.
No, we don't need to do functional notation. It's good to know, and we're going to talk about that more also. All right, let's go ahead and jump to question number 6. All right. Now, someone new, all right? Someone, if you haven't been talking, I want you to talk. All right? I want to know if you know what you're doing. All right? So, slope of the parallel line is what? 1. Perfect. Passing through the point negative 1, 1. All right, who's having trouble? Let's do that. Anybody having any questions, any troubles? Anybody want to verify they know something? Good. Yeah, that's perfect. You're going to do that for me right now. Okay, so write it for me in point slope form. Let him do it. You're perfect. Okay? Now distribute the 1. Y minus 1 equals x plus 1, correct? And now what do? Add 1. Because we're trying to get y by itself, right? So what's in the way? So how do I get rid of negative 1? There you go, man. Right? So your final answer is what? Tell me. 1x plus what? Why did I just say 2? Tell me why. Yes. Well, we don't. Yeah, we're just adding 1. Now, remember now, you got to make sure. Do you understand what I just said? You're adding 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. I know you know what that means, but I'm trying to emphasize to you, I got rid of the minus 1 by adding 1. All right? You feel better now? All right, try number 8 real quick. Do that on your own. All right, quickly. All right, so here we go. For number 8, Caden, what is the slope of the parallel line? Good. Passing through the point negative 4, comma 2. Tell me the equation. Beautiful. So your final answer, just because mental math that. What is it? Everybody should be able to do that. Everybody should be do that. Are you guys agreeing with that simple, right?
Yes.
All right. I feel good about it. All right. I feel good. All right. Now, look, I can't help you know if you're going, man, I'm not sure about something. You're not raising your hand. All right. Nothing I can do. All right. So here we go. Cross out 10. Let's take a look at 12. We're trying to decide if the equations are parallel, perpendicular. All right. Now I'm looking at the first, number 12. This is in good form, right? Because what's the slope? 4. Over here we got some problems with the second equation. Why do I have problems with the second equation?
Why is it by itself?
Yes, it's not in the right format. Now again, eyes up on the board. Look up, please. Look up. Everybody look up. Here is what I'm expecting from you. Look up, please. Everybody should be able to look at that and just say, put that in slope-intercept form without any hesitation and moving numbers in their head. Everybody should be able to say y equals negative 1/4 x plus 3. If you can't do that, you're way behind. All right? you're moving the x and it becomes what? Negative x. You're supposed to be able to hold that in your head. And then you divide both sides by what? 4. Negative 1 divided by 4 is the fraction, negative 1/4. And 12 divided by 4 is what? 3. All right? So now it's safe to say the slope of this line is what? Negative 1/4. All right? And then the slope of the third line, pretty easy mental math on that, is what? Be careful. Negative 4, right?
You have to move it over.
Yeah, you have to move the 4x over to the other side. So that slope is negative 4. All right? So now, are any of the lines parallel? No. No lines are parallel. None of the slopes are the same. Are any of the lines perpendicular?
Yes.
The which ones?
The first one and the second.
First and second. First and second are, and the symbol for perpendicular. First and second are perpendicular. And they're perpendicular because the slopes are opposite reciprocals or negative reciprocals. Quickly.
But the negatives and positives don't have to change.
I'm not understanding your question. Tell me.
Like it doesn't have to be negative 1/4 and then the reciprocals just.
They have to be, the signs are always opposite of each other. In other words, this one over here is positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the perpendicular is going to be negative.
Oh, okay.
Now, these two right here aren't because they're both negative. They can't be perpendicular if the signs are the same. Slopes are negative reciprocals. Everybody's understanding that, right?
Yes.
All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at 14. Now, we're going to write the perpendicular. All right, we're going to write the perpendicular. So as usual, all right, I'm going to go ahead and say that the slope of the perpendicular is what? Negative 1/2. The slope of the perpendicular is negative 1/2. If you understand that now and you made a mistake before, I'm okay. If you have no idea why it's negative 1/2, now you raise your hand and say, help me out a little bit here. Is everybody figured that out? What? Okay, so let's look. The slope of this line is what? 2, right? The perpendicular is always the negative reciprocal. The reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. Opposite sign. You with me now, right? All right, so now passing through the point 4, negative 1. Passing through the point 4, negative 1. All right, Ms. Vitello, you got this equation. What's the equation going to be?
Y plus 1 equals -1/2 times x.
You're awesome, girl. Perfect. Now again, we are practicing mental math. Practice your mental math. I want the final answer from here. All right, we're going to distribute the negative 1/2. And after you distribute the negative 1/2, how do I get rid of plus 1?
-1.
Yes, come on, let's say. Who's going to give me that answer? Go. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Y equals. Wait. Okay. Sorry.
Distribute the negative 1/2. You're fine. Don't be sorry.
Negative 1/2 x.
And then?
Plus 1.
Yes, good job, girl. There you go. Negative 1/2 x plus 1. Just take your time, relax. Anybody have any issues with that? Because negative 1/2 times negative 4 is what? You good? All right, usually there's a mistake with negatives. All right, usually there's a mistake with negatives. All right, let's take a look at 16. All right, here we go, guys. On 16, slope of the perpendicular, be careful, is 1/4. Is everybody happy with that so far?
Yes.
Slope of the perpendicular is 1/4. Everybody good? And now it passes through the point, negative 4, 5. So Walker, what's the equation?
The equation is y minus 5 plus 4.
Brilliant. Okay, give me the final answer. Try to do your mad math skills here. Go ahead.
The answer would be y equals 1/4 plus 6.
You're awesome, buddy.
Good job, Walker.
Good, 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 good. Good practice with mental math. Very simple. All right, now let's take a look at 18. Now, 18 is the easiest problem on the whole worksheet because what's the y-intercept, guys?
2.
Stop. What is the y-intercept? 0. The y-intercept is 0. Listen to what I'm saying. Does everybody understand what I'm getting at, right? The y-intercept is 0. So this is like less than a 5-second problem, if you recognize that, right? Because what would be the slope of the perpendicular? -2. And what is b?
0.
So your equation,
y equals -2.
that's the answer.
That's easy.
Right? If you can remember, the y-intercept is 0, comma, whatever that number is. All right, is everybody happy with that? If you didn't remember that, you're just going to do y minus 0 equals -2 times x minus 0. It didn't matter if you knew it or not. You would just simplify that and it'd be -2x. Is everybody good with that?
Oh, yeah.
All right, now, what I want to do now is I just want to look back at one of the little harder ones for you guys. Not that it's really that hard, but I want everybody to look at number 15. And you can just look up on the board, because I did this with the last class. The issue here is what?
It's not in y equals mx.
Yes, you have to put it in slope-intercept form first. However, stop and listen. I'm going to erase this. I'm going to erase this. Stop, stop, stop. The only thing I care about is the what?
The
Slope. Does everybody hear me?
Yes.
I don't care about the y-intercept. We don't need the y-intercept. I just need the slope. Ingalls, you ready? Come on now, listen to what I'm saying. I just need the slope. I'm expecting everybody in this class to look at that and mentally just say, obviously, the slope is what?
-1.
Be careful. I'm in trouble now, guys.
Oh.
Look up there again and tell me what the slope is. -1/3. You need to be able to do that. That'll save yourself a bunch of time if you can do that. Is everybody hearing me on that?
Yes.
Because you're just solving for y. So you're moving the x and dividing by 3. So the slope is what? -1/3. Is it necessary to put it in y equals mx plus b? For some of you it is, because you're not very good at the mental math. Does everybody hear me? But if you can look at that and say, obviously the slope is -1/3, then what would be the slope of the perpendicular? 3. Exactly. And we're using what point?
-1, -6.
And now we're off to the races. Is everybody with me on that?
Yes.
All right, so the only way they can make it difficult is if they give you an equation that's not in y equals mx plus b form. Does everybody understand me? All right, now listen, guys. The only thing you don't have to do is that word problem. All right, we've done all the evens. Yes, we've done all the evens, so now just go back and do the what? Now, notice what I did. I want you to practice drawing the parallel line through that point. And why am I saying that? Because on the SATs and the ACTs, sometimes they have you draw those, all right? Or they don't have you draw them. It's just easier if you understand how to draw them. All right, is everybody with me on this?
Yeah.
All right, so draw the lines like I did. And again, if you're having any questions, just listen to the video over again. All right, Casey, you all caught up? You understand everything, right? All right. Yeah, how did the IXL go?
It was really time consuming.
It is time
It took a
consuming.
lot of time.
I
got to 80, which I was happy about.
Perfect.
I understood S22 like 5 minutes before the bell, so then I did it.
Perfect.
It just took a long time. Kids got frustrated.